Let's talk about 1933's King Kong. This movie is simply excellent. Actually, it's the definition of a simple but great movie in a lot of ways. The actual story wasn't breaking barriers, it didn't have any message that hadn't been seen before. But I think the best way I've seen this described, I think this might be from James Rolfe, but I'm probably wrong, is that King Kong is a modern fairy tale. That hits it right on the nose. Analyzing the movie that way puts it in a whole new perspective, such as the reveal of Anne that treats her like a fairy tale princess. Someone who would later need to be rescued by a knight in shining armor from a giant monster. Anne's whole character in this movie is just like a little kid, especially early on. But I actually like this. I think she was the character the audience is supposed to identify with, because, again, she acts like a little kid. She's amazed by everything. It feels natural, like that's just who she is. All the characters have pretty clear-cut personalities. The adventurer, the reluctant adventurer, and the one that is a child. I always liked Carl Denham's line on why he's his own cameraman. He calls all his cameramen are too scared to do what he wants. Basically tells the audience everything they need to know about him very, very quickly. King Kong is known for its scale, but it loves to add smaller things to its world. My favorite example is the scene where the main characters arrive at Skull Island for the first time. They didn't need to animate birds flying around, but they did, and it pays off. Things like this make the scale pay off. When you add details like this, it creates a world that feels full. A world that feels real to the audience, like it's actually lived in. Scenes where there is real action feel real, and therefore engage the audience better. Like, look at Kong's introduction. There's a rumbling while the natives look on in horror. Out from the trees comes an ape bigger than a building. He grabs Anne while she screams her head off and leaves. That reveal may not seem like much when I describe it, but trust me, it's amazing. It truly makes Kong a menacing threat. He's just real. So real. Look at the life-size Tenenbaum. They're amazing. All of the stop motion looks great. It's one of the best special effects movies in my opinion. Especially for 1933. The amount of effort and passion put into this movie is astounding. This wasn't a team of 100 people like modern films. It was still a good bit of people, but what they pulled off was absolutely insane. The way Kong moves, all of his facial expressions, everything he does give Kong a character without it feeling forced. So when Kong is attacked or attacks someone, the audience gets it. They understand why. I could go on about these effects forever, but I don't think you guys want to hear that. Anyways, this whole scene is amazing and easily one of the best introductions of a character in a film I've ever seen. Sorry if it feels like I'm skimming on the actual content of the film, but I don't want to ruin how good it is for people who haven't seen it, or repeat myself with my praises. I'm completely leaving out this amazing scene where the crew crosses a river and attacked by a dinosaur. Seriously, it's like survival horror, it's great, but again, I don't want to spoil too much. The most famous part of King Kong is easily the ending. Holy shit, the ending. If somehow you seriously don't know what I'm talking about, I'll sum it up pretty quickly. Kong escapes his show in New York to find Anne, then climbs up the Empire State Building, gets shot by planes, and dies. It isn't that simple. He also attacks a train and throws some lady out of a window because she is an Anne. Both of those parts are really good and feel natural. Even if another film would later do that train scene a little better. But I know you all really want to hear about the Empire State. I don't even want to think how they did all the special effects for this. It's amazing. I can't even begin to describe how good of an ending this is. Feels like the perfect payoff of everything you've seen in the movie so far. Whatever I say won't do it justice. Even if you don't watch this movie, I implore you to check out everything after Kong escapes. You won't regret it. I'm seriously sorry I can't say much for this section, but it's just so good I can't put it into words. So, overall, what do I think of King Kong? Well, it's somewhat of a magical experience to be honest. I still remember the day I got this movie. A week earlier, I saw James Rolfe on Cinemassacre talk about it as one of his favorite movies of all time, and I saw it through the window of Sunrise Records. Not on a huge display. It was out of sight, honestly, and I almost didn't see it on the shelf. But I begged my mom to get it and watched it that night, and the rest is history. Since then, I've watched it countless times, once every few months, and I have a good feeling I'm not alone. This movie has a strange staying power, as if it will never get old, which is very surprising, seeming it was produced at a time where movies were intended to only ever be seen in their initial theatrical release. Sure, there are a few select moments in the film where it's dated, but almost all of it feels basically timeless. If you were to tell me this film was made in modern day and that it was just styled to look like a Freddy's movie, I would totally believe you. This movie sticks with you long after you watch it. It doesn't have a profound message or important themes, but it's just so memorable. It's kind of sad how little love this movie gets despite being so iconic. I'd love to see it the way it was meant to, on a big screen instead of just a standard definition DVD. This movie has been brought back to theaters 5 times, in 1948, 1942, 1946, 1952, and 1956. Each time it was a hit. Maybe they can bring it back to promote Kong vs. Godzilla the way the original Godzilla was released for Godzilla 2014, but hopefully with a wider release than that, although I doubt either of those things will come true. I think King Kong's most defining aspect is the special effects and how they use it. The special effects aren't just there to look pretty, they add to the movie. Kong would never work as a stage play. This is a story that was best told over film, and I think that's what makes it so special. Kong knew the power that special effects had in storytelling, and it used it correctly. Not a lot of films get that. This is why Kong needs to be studied in modern day, so people know why special effects can enhance a movie and just make it an overall better experience. Kong wouldn't be the same without its special effects. Overall, King Kong is a movie that I think everyone should see at least once, and has definitely cemented itself in the history of pop culture.